We're live.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to GCC board meeting. Roll call first. Mr. Mark Anderson.
Here.
Mr. Harry Block.
Here.
Mr. Bruce Mandrick.
Here.
Mr. Jack Turner.
Here.
Lily Campbell. All 5 board members are present. And now I will welcome everyone to our GCC regular board meeting, May the 11th, 2021. We are so happy to see all of you tonight. And we are so very happy to know that some of you are watching us virtually. We thank our superintendent, Dr. Peterson, our staff, Ms. Thornsberry, Mr. Sample, and Dr. McCormick, and we have other visitors here with us from schools, and they will be introduced in a few minutes. So welcome, welcome everyone. Do we have public comments?
Madam President, there are no public comments tonight.
No public comments tonight, great. So then we will go right into our board meeting with our superintendent's update. So Dr. Peterson, our superintendent, will provide the GCC board what's been happening since we last met, and I'm sure it's quite a bit. So you're on, Dr. Peterson.
Thank you, Madam President. And I affirm, as you have, those that may be listening from afar, our families, our staff, our students, anyone who's watching Governance in Action, I just want to affirm you for being part of this, and really am excited that tonight is the first of our many annual school presentations. So it will be an exciting night for the board and those that are watching. But for the superintendent's update, I will try to capture as much as I can. We are in the spirit and time of doing recognitions and more recognitions. As such, I want to recognize both Miss Lily and our many staff members who are mothers. We all celebrated Mother's Day on Sunday. So this goes out to all of you mothers, mother figures, all of you who have filled a maternal role in some way. Happy belated Mother's Day for you.
Thank you, thank you.
And then this last week, we also took time to recognize certificated staff members, including our administrators. So thank you to all of our certificated staff, teachers, administrators, and others who honor us by working at our school sites. This week, we're recognizing National Charter Schools Week. I'm sure there'll be a bunch of stuff you will see on social media. And then next week, we will have the opportunity to recognize our classified staff. And just as we're finishing that up, it will time to recognize all of our promoters and graduators and the end of the year. And there will be a lot of recognition going on. In the spirit of recognition, this last week, we had a conference call with the Flippin Group representative, and we are proud to announce that the Gateway Community Charters organization has once again been chosen as a national showcase district. We are one of only 8 school systems in the United States who has so been named, and this is our 2nd year. So we are very proud and honored to be a national showcase district for capturing kids' hearts. We know that that is because our schools do such an amazing job at living, breathing, and personifying capturing kids' hearts for our school and our community. So thank you for all that you do. I hate to once again have to tell you about COVID-19. There will come a time when COVID-19 will not have space on our agendas, but it is still here. Unfortunately, we had hoped by this time to tell you that Sacramento County had either moved to orange or yellow. We were progressing very nicely for a time. Unfortunately, we still remain stalled in red tier in Sacramento County. Yellow County has moved to orange tier. These are wonderful things. We'd love to see it continue to move, but we are continuing to monitor all of the data from the state and local public health regarding the tiers and the impact they have on our schools. And at this point, I do not believe any tier changes will affect what you're going to hear later about our school processes at this time. We do believe that the state is going to open on June 15th. As most of you know, the governor announced that a couple of weeks back. And what that meant is that on June 15th, according to him, we will no longer have red, orange, green, blue, purple stuff. So we are watching to see what that actually means beyond the fact that the tiers are supposed to go away June 15th. We continue to attend multiple webinars, and certainly a number of staff members, including myself, have attended webinars on how to manage the variety of COVID-19 funds we've given with integrity. Mr. Business and his team is doing a tremendous job, as are the principals, in trying to effectively create spending plans for that money. We are also ending the year with attempting to have all of our authorizer visits complete. The Twin Rivers consultant, Francie Heim, will be on site next week. She did site visits using Zoom. And now that we are back on campus, she's going to be visiting physically some of our campuses. San Juan Director Michelle Flegler and incoming Director Brian Gentry will also be at GIS this next week. And we are still awaiting news from Sac City, Yolo County, and Elk Grove about when they would like to schedule visits for their authorizer visit for this year. You will remember that we are in the heart of the work for the next 5 charter renewals that occur next year. That's our Twin Rivers schools. Jason has been working with Dr. Lori Grace, and we have been negotiating what the dates of turning in those submissions will be. At this time, we anticipate that we will turn in all 5 renewals to Twin Rivers on October 19, and that board action will occur early in the 2022 year on all 5 charters. The superintendent spring presentations are well underway. This last week or so, or since I've seen you last, we have done CoA Elementary presentation, CCCS Main Campus, Futures High School, Gateway International School, the 3 SAVAs all together, and I believe I have my last one this Friday. I will be presenting to CCCS K-8 program. It's been a real joy and a privilege to be able to share my passion and my sense of appreciation for each of our campuses as I did the spring presentations this year. Also, with the joy of being fully vaccinated and the joy of having many students back on our campuses in our school reopening plans, I was able to do some school site visits. I definitely want to give a shout out to SAVA Power In, SAVA Elk Grove, EPIC, CCS K-8, CoA Elementary, CoA Middle School, and Futures, who all recently welcomed me on campus and talked to me about the great work they're doing. It was wonderful to see students and staff on campus once again. I want to give you a little bit of a future project update. We are hard at work with the 21-22 Blueprint for Excellence. We, in the superintendent spring presentation, asked for input from all the sites, and we've got quite a few comments and suggestions. We are also going to be eliciting responses from CBAC, Foundation, the principals, and many others, including yourself at some point, to finalize that blueprint. We've told you many times about our work with the Firehouse Cafe. We are excited that our first cohort of students are completing their first session. I want to give a huge shout out to Maisha Britt and to the team of community engagement, including Jason and Sergey, because this has really been their baby. They've gotten a lot of things set up and moving despite the pandemic. Students have learned in this first cohort about business management, business financing, building permits, codes. They've had industry professionals teach classes. Some of our CBAC members, like Franklin Burris from the North Sacramento Chamber and Alex Ushakov from Northern Bank, have taught classes and are mentoring our students. Foundation board member Alan Hom is working on a space design and facility improvements for that Firehouse Cafe. We're very excited for what the fall may bring there. We continue charter development work, as we've told you in the past, in relation to our past Blueprint for Excellence. We're working on a number of things, such as our IB High School and our project-based, seat-based vocational offering The virtual academy is also under development right now. We are marketing and receiving student interest. As you will remember, the virtual academy is a way for students who are not yet ready to return to a classroom setting for one reason or another. We will offer them the virtual academy in order for them to continue to attend with Gateway Community Charters. Learning professional development and professional learning continues. We have been doing such things as the cultural sensitivity in the workplace training. CoA Spring Curriculum Breakfast was attended by a number of us. Multilingual English Learner Leadership Symposium. Cabinet has been doing coaching with Lyle Kurtman. We're just about ready to wrap up that cabinet coaching for this year. Before I got on this call with you all wonderful people today, I just finished the final session of the GCC Teacher Leader Cohort, which was an amazing experience. We are very much blessed with the GCC teacher leaders we have across this organization. Their heart, their passion, and enthusiasm for what they do is unparalleled. Continuing to engage, and we're continuing to engage in the learning around brain research, trauma-informed instruction, and social emotional learning, including with a lens for equity. We are just about ready to finish up this year's Crucial Conversations cohort. We have a campfire session, our fourth for this year, and Rob Martinez is going to come, and he's known as the resiliency guy. He's going to give a campfire on resilience and grit. And I think that's this next week. And then we have our fifth session. We already had our fifth session of Leadership Development Academy. Hats off to Aaron Thornsberry, who gave a very lively discussion to the Leadership Development Academy on school, business, and finance. The next section, I will be teaching the sixth session, which will be about future trends and vision. I believe that's in 2 weeks. And then we have a bonus session that we're going to do after that for those that are interested in the bonus session. Our equity work is continuing. The implicit bias training that we did with everyone was well received, very informative. Each school site is creating their own follow-up plan and next steps. And Dr. McCormick and Mr. Sample also did the same work together with central office. So we're really doing this work pervasively throughout the organization. We had our next meeting with the Hanover Research Group regarding our next steps for learning recovery, for equity, instructional coaching, and data discussions through our contract with them. We're going to incorporate that in with excellence. I want to give a shout out also to Maisha Britt and Dr. Heather Gold. If you did not know, Heather defended her dissertation in the last 2 weeks since you've seen her. She has moved from Heather Gold to Dr. Heather Gold. Yeah, and she and Maisha got together in the month of April to create the GCC Spring into Less Stress. I don't know if it was a competition, but it was the month of April. There was something every day that everybody could do and log on and share that they were working on being less stressed. And I really want to affirm the two of them. We sometimes call them Team Fun, to bring in a little bit of positive energy and fun into what can be a stressful time. They did a great job with it. If you don't know, April is, stress awareness month, I believe is what they call it. Lastly, end of year events. Our end of year event, there will not be any hamburger. There will not be any hot dogs. There are no chips in sight. We are unfortunately having a virtual event May 21st, but I'm not trying to be negative. We are very excited to once again be coming to an end of a year together and be able to celebrate, even if it's using our Zoom platform, that we made it through another year, and we did so with excellence. We did a lot of dreaming, designing, adapting, and persevering for sure. I'm sure we will find some Disney to incorporate into our Zoom. Okay, not sure which. For those of you who have not attended a spring presentation, we had Abominable, we had Mulan. You never know who's going to show up at the next presentation from Disney. But we are under strict guidelines. I am saddened to tell the board that we are under strict guidelines from the California Department of Health regarding events. All of our events are very, very limited. We can only have very limited attendance and participation. Everybody can't even have all their family and friends. So we're doing a lot of live streaming. And much as we would love to have you there in person, we're not going to be able to. I think we've talked about this before, but I know Melissa and Jason will be sure to share with you all of the live streaming information and the dates and times so that you can watch the live streaming and be a part of it. I think that is everything, Jason. Did I get all the things? All right. So, Madam President, that is the superintendent's update.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Peterson. And has it been a year since we've been together again?
It feels
No.
like it.
All you've done and all that's been going on at GCC, it seems like it's been months and months since we've been together. And I know that's not true. Thank you again for all of your hard work, all of your tenacity, and being visible out there with staff. And I am jealous. I want you to know that, because I would love to be out there seeing what's happening and being with you, but I know we can't do it.
The minute it is safe, Miss Lily, every campus has also expressed their sadness that you're not going to be there. So the minute that we can safely have you on campus, Madam President, we assure you, you will be invited.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'll stop whining, which I do very well. And so, board members, any other board members with comments? We do appreciate all that you're doing and bringing this year to a close and just trying to persevere and keep going. Anything else, board members? Seeing no hands, hearing none, we will then continue on with our board agenda. And now we're into our study session. And the first one is Community Outreach Academy Elementary, CoA Annual School Report. Ms. Larissa, it is so good to see you and staff. Thank you for being here. And do you want to bring her in, Madam Superintendent, or how are we going to do it?
Hello, Superintendent Dr. Cindy Peterson, GCC Board President Lily Campbell, our wonderful GCC Board and Cabinet members. I am honored to present to you our annual CoA presentation today, and I'm so blessed to be a part of such a wonderful organization. Thank you for taking the time to listen to this presentation and for supporting our school in our efforts to supply our students with the best education possible. I am grateful for my vice principals, Dr. Tanya Kissel and Mr. Michael Surdi. They're here today with me and they're going to do presentation, and staff members, teachers, curriculum coaches, and I'm privileged to be able to lead them in good times as well as difficult ones. Speaking of good things, I would like to start out by affirming our GCC cabinet members and of course GCC board president and members for your continuous support of our wonderful school this year. In this slide, I will find just a few of very many good things that we have experienced this year. So we have once again been selected as a CKA Showcase School, that's the 5th time, by the Flipping Group. As you remember, March 13th, 2020, that was last year, was the last day of our in-class instruction. And starting March 16, 2020, we moved to a distance learning model of instruction. This year, January 11th, we fully opened school doors for all our students. And now we have 84% of our students return to in-person instruction. I also got another community award, Above and Beyond Person of the Year. And of course, there are many, many more good things, but this is just our few highlights.
So CoA Elementary excelled in distance learning. We have developed a detailed distance learning plan, which included detailed responsibilities of all stakeholders, including staff, parents, and students. We also knew the importance of social emotional learning, and we made sure to continue fully implementing CKH, virtual character education assemblies, daily morning messages. Our monthly school spirit days brought a lot of fun and joy for both students, or all students, staff, and parents. And we continued with flexible classroom instructions, and of course, used parent and student surveys to further plan and excel. Next slide. COVID-19 brought some challenges, but with an amazing CoA team, these are just a few of our responses to the challenges. For everyone's safety, we developed and implemented a reopening phase plan, allowing special education students to be the first ones on campus, followed by our English learners and academically low students. And in all phases, we left the option for continuing distance learning, which we have some students in each grade level currently still in distance learning. With the main changes, we know that there is a learning loss, and to support our students, we will be having summer school this year. Next slide. To make sure our students' academic growth, to measure students' academic growth, we compare Renaissance data from fall and spring. And even though this year was a challenge, the one thing we learned, you'll see that we actually grew across most of the grade levels in both math and ELA. But the one thing we learned is that when the students were in distance learning in the fall, students in primary grade levels had parents supporting them in taking the assessments, tests that resulting in possibly inaccurate scores in primary grades. And for this reason, CoA admin responded with a parent workshop on assessments to better explain how the assessments works for the parents. Next slide. We look at data closely and always analyze and try to find ways to support our students. We have amazing 3 curriculum coaches that meet with each of their teachers after Renaissance assessments or grade level assessments. They analyze the assessment data, make goals, and plan. Once the coaches meet with each teacher, they bring the summary to our academic focus meeting, which consists of Larissa, Michael, coaches, and I. After further analyzing and setting goals, this data is then shared with, discussed with our lead teachers and shared with all staff. We believe the student data tracker and our data talk is foremost important aspect in finding ways to better support our students. Next slide.
Speaking of coherence, throughout the school year, our students and their success is always very important and number one of our focus, We look at the past years and trimesters to improve pacing, testing, and instruction. We want to make sure our students are prepared for next grade level. And this year, we decided to start implementing iReady assessments. Lead teachers and admin received training session 1 on April 5th, and all staff will receive training session 2 during fall. Our goals for iReady implementation. In spring, we would like to administer our iReady assessment during summer school for summer school students. And next year, we would like to administer our ready assessment beginning, middle, and at the end of the school year. And of course, I would like to thank you, Dr. of Academics, Heather Gold, for your support in this matter. Thank you very much. And another thing I would like to emphasize, this year we have a very great privilege to work with Lyle Kortman. Lyle is coaching our admin team and our curriculum coaches. Next slide.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for the opportunity to be with you here today. I'll be sharing on the next few slides. Technology. We live in the 21st century, and rely heavily on technology in our everyday lives. The past year, especially with the pandemic, we've had to completely switch to distance learning. So the need was heightened even more. We're very fortunate to have a 1-to-1 ratio at our school. Every student has their own Chromebook or laptop to use. Because of the pandemic and because of a large population of socio-disadvantaged families, we are grateful for the opportunity to help them out with internet or access to internet. 200 hotspots were passed out to our parents since last summer. Technology stipends and trainings are helping staff be better equipped to teach our students. Thinking to the future, new smart boards purchased for each class at CoA, including specialty classes. We're excited to have our students back on campus and look forward to starting the new school year fresh after so many adaptations this year. Next slide.
Speaking of equity, inclusion, and diversity, in kindergarten through 5th grade, we have had many conversations about student achievement and how we can meet our SMARTY goal. As you know, in kindergarten, we have many students who enter with no previous experience in a school setting, as well as many students who do not speak English at all. As we continue through the next grade level, we notice that they have also continued working on building vocabulary. So all grade levels noticed it is very important to help support our students by utilizing a similar curriculum across all grade levels. By doing this, we can better integrate vocabulary across subject matter to help our students gain a deeper understanding. Looking to the next year, our focus to involve more the specialty departments into a coherence work, like RSP and intervention. Also, we are planning to offer world languages option for next year. We are going to start with Spanish next year. Speaking of staff, high quality staff, next slide, please. So we continue to strive to offer the best education possible for our students that include hiring, retaining, and recognizing the best employees. We continue to provide trainings and workshops for our staff members to ensure that they are up to date on the most effective educational practices. We offer a great variety of professional development opportunities to all employees during our PD days and staff meetings. There are always growth opportunities with the GCC organization, which we are so thankful for. I would like to affirm our Human Resources Department led by Laura Barragan for helping us recruit the best employee both on certificated as well as classified. CoA Elementary has a strong cultural celebration. We celebrate the successes of not only our students, but staff members as well. Whenever something good happens, it's natural for us to celebrate. Celebrating staff success helps us build a strong sense of community and foster a great school culture of joy and makes coming to work an enjoyable experience. I think one of the things CoA does best is celebrating and honoring staff achievements. We would like to thank Dr. Cindy Peterson for always taking the time to motivate us and inspire us to better serve our students and families. We love you, Cindy, and are grateful for you. Next slide, please.
This is me. This year, more than ever, with the social distancing and the distance learning disconnect, it was so important for us to make sure we communicate well with our parents and stay connected with our community. Continue with the mediums. Our community is already used to radio programs every Thursday morning, run by our great parent liaison, named Ivan Leszczyk. Also monthly newsletters with important information going on or coming up at school, school website and phone application updated regularly. Also sharing what our students are doing on our Instagram and Facebook for parents to see. Also parent workshops and forums. There are also new ways that we saw were extremely effective this school year, such as a parent Viber group, other parents and staff working together on the forum to help communicate important information to parents. We have about 450 families in our elementary school Viber chat. Also technology support for parents. Technology pair is available throughout the week to help teachers keeping close communication with parents for distance learning support and more. And of course, we did want to make our students feel as welcome and with us as possible. One event we did have the opportunity to hold on campus during distance learning when the guidelines were just starting to let up was our Santa drive-by. This was an amazing event. I'm sure you've seen pictures on social media. Our parents were grateful for this opportunity. This year, we received several donations from local vendors and passed out goodie bags for our students. Parents and students loved it, absolutely loved it. Next slide, please. To stay accountable, we send out parent surveys regularly and receive a great amount of participation and information every time. We're grateful that despite the disconnect with distance learning this school year, we still have our parents' trust in educating their children. As you can see, we still hold high marks across the board in regards to how our parents feel regarding their child's education COA. Next slide, please.
Speaking of charter renewal, to prepare our school for next year renewal, we already started discussion among stakeholders. I would like to affirm Mr. Jason Semple for his support in documentation preparation process. Also, I would like to affirm Aaron Thornsberry and his department for all their help and support with budget. And special thank you to Dr. McCormick for answering endless questions and concerns, and your support, Mrs. Christina, with LTAP planning. You always have the right answer. What's next? So thinking about next year. So would be a great year. A lot of things is going to happen. But thinking ahead for 21-22 school year, we have already started planning with preparing schedule, class lists, conducting parent and student surveys, having classroom observation, and on and on. Student learning will continue to be our first and main focus point. We will put even more emphasis on student success and further development of their talents and skills. We would like to dive deeper and learn what our students are interested in and use those things to prepare them for their future. This year is unique because our new ELA curriculum, we are piloting benchmark advance. That's a very rigorous curriculum specifically for our EL English learners. And this curriculum has an ELD program that directly aligns with the classroom ELA instruction. And this link has been vital for supporting our English language learners. Also, we are planning to continue our work with vocabulary, developing vocabulary and comprehension, and of course, math, focus, relevant rigor. We would like to thank you again for giving us the opportunity to present our wonderful school to you. Thank you very much for your continued support of our school and for believing in us. We will continue to do everything in our power to support our staff members, students, parents, and community members. Thank you all again for your attention and support. If you have any questions, we are more than happy to answer them.
Okay, I see Mr. Turner. Jack?
Yes, oh, thank you and your staff. You're just a wonderful report, and you have, as in the past, an outstanding school. I have two questions. The in-person number of students you have, is that a 5 days a week, or is it a hybrid model? And I was looking at the numbers that you have, because I've been following statewide, and your numbers are significantly higher for in-person than in other elementary schools, significantly higher. So can you give us some insight to what you think you attribute that to? And again, just an outstanding presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Turner. Thank you. Yeah, our students 5 days in school from 8:30 to 2:30 and Fridays until 12:30. So they're here, all instruction and person instruction, all support here. So we are happy and they're happy, they're smiling. We are happy to see their smiling faces, great faces. And obviously they say they would like to go to school. I see and hear a lot of concerns from parents. They don't want to stay at home. They would like to go to school. That's amazing. So.
Jack, anything else?
No, thank you.
Mark? Ms. Anderson?
Sorry, I had to take it off mute. Again, great presentation, Larissa and staff. I wanted to ask you, now that we're offering, and I know we've done summer school before, based on the feedback, maybe Michael can answer this as well. Do we see a lot of parents interested in their children going and taking advantage of summer school coming up?
Yes, we do. We expect, to be honest, completely honest with you, we expected a lower number of students to attend summer school. We have, we're about to serve close to 300 students, 250 to 300 students during summer school. And we also have a wait list. Unfortunately, not all of our teachers are on board. So our design, summer school design, is to serve smaller groups. We need to emphasize, we need to focus on reading, we need to focus on math. We can't have larger groups of students. So we will attack, we'll target the lowest out of the lowest.
But this year we offer 6-week summer school. So that would be 2-part, 3 weeks and another 3 weeks. So that would be great for students to have opportunity to choose or options to choose which part or which 3 weeks they would like to attend. So that's go ahead.
Sorry,
Mark,
these are in person, though. They're not.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Questions, you said it's 3 weeks and 3 weeks. Can one student attend both 3 weeks? Is that what I understood or not? They have a choice.
In general, no. We would like to reach out to as many students as possible.
Okay.
Unless
So
there's an
3
exception. Yeah, there may be an exception, maybe 1 or 2 students, but in general, 2 different cohorts. We'll have 2 different cohorts, one in June and the other one in July.
Okay. All right.
So clarifying, Madam President, is it 300 total across the 6 weeks? So 150 and 150?
No, we will have more students during July session and much less kids in July. I guess I'm assuming that parents are, taking them out,
Vacation.
vacations.
Yeah. I appreciate your report. Thank you. I was looking to see if I had any more board before I started talking. Thank you all for your wonderful school report. We appreciate it. One of the things that you mentioned, Larissa, is that you recognize your teachers and staff and you try to give them accolades for all of the work. You don't have that many turnovers, do you, in terms of staff turnover, teachers leaving and what have you?
We have very, very good retention.
Very good.
If they're like going to like live on to other states or married or changing their lives, but otherwise they're staying with us. Great.
That's what I understood. And one other question, your parent Viber group, you said you have about 450 parents. Would you tell me a little bit more how that works, or what does it mean?
During distance learning time, our parents ask or they develop a Viber group, like invite all parents and ask question, invite us as administration and ask question, because that was like distance learning. They would like to know and clarify questions. And I was like, Tanya, me, and Michael, Ivan, Leszczuk was like, we were answering all questions, even
Mhm.
like 2 o'clock in the morning, sometimes, because they were arguing, questioning, and a lot of questions they couldn't figuring out until we try. And you know what? They answer sometimes to each other by themselves, but usually we were giving them clear questions, clear explanations, and expectations. That was a really good feeling, what they would like to know, what they would like to go, what they would like to see. So that's a great experience for us this year.
I want to add to the Viber group that after we created a whole community, that they parents also created a Viber group with classes. So if they have missed lock-in, so all the parents who are missed lock-in had a separate group, and they were able to support each other and answer with homework and things. It was just amazing to see that.
It sounds amazing. It sounds really creative, and thanks for thinking of the parents and helping them to come to understand what is really happening. That's great. Do we have any other questions or comments from board members? Again, we do appreciate each of you and all of the staff. Please give them the board's appreciation for all of the hard work, because it has not been an easy year. We recognize that. But we want you to know, and to your staff, how much we appreciate, and that 84% of students that are back in, it's phenomenal. We really, really do appreciate all of your hard work. Thank you for always thinking of us, Miss Larissa, the gifts and the appreciation that you give to the board. We really love you. That's all I can say. And it sounds mushy, but it's really the truth. So thank you again.
And if I could,
accolades to you.
yeah, I'm just going to add my accolades, Madam President. So I want to be sure that we recognize that Miss Larissa and Tanya and Michael have been a very powerful team for us for a very long time at Larissa.
Yes.
At Larissa's school, Larissa has been working really hard across the years to coach and grow their leadership. And we continue to expect to see great things from all three of them.
They are amazing, I can tell you.
And Tanya, congratulations again, Dr. Tanya. We really appreciate all the work and with the babies and what have you. Thank you. Gosh, it's just so great to see you guys and to really hear you. So thank you again. All right, enough accolades. We will move on to our next report. Item 2, Community Outreach Academy, CoA Middle School. So we are now ready for Principal Scott Gennard, and we are ready to hear from you. Anything else? Okay. If not, we will go to you, Mr. Gennard. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much, Madam President. And thank you, Dr. Peterson, a wonderful superintendent, our board and cabinet. It is an honor to talk about our school, although it is always a challenge to follow up Larissa and her fantastic work. I do want to start off with an affirmation for Larissa and her incredible team. Being able to work with them has just been wonderful. Always has been, but this year of additional challenge and everything, that partnership has just been a beautiful asset. So thank you so much for that. All right, let's get into it. Looks like I can share my screen. Thank you, Mr. Sample. And just a quick check-in, just want to make sure that you guys can see everything all right.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yes.
Wonderful, wonderful. All right. So this is our CoA Middle board presentation. Look forward to talking about the conclusion of this unique and amazing year. Just want to say hello from all of us at CoA Middle. It was wonderful talking with all of our staff and reflecting on some of the key things that everyone wanted included in here. And everyone just wanted to just express their deep appreciation for everything that you do for us as an organization. It really makes it all possible. Do want to go into some good things. We are CKH National Showcase School again for the second year in a row. We had an incredible 6th grade integration, like we'll talk more about that. Increase in parent engagement, students on campus. We've had some incredible equity work with Hanover in our partnership with CCCS. There's so many other things, and beautiful updated classrooms and furniture using flexible design, which became so incredibly critical when it came to bringing students back to work, and so much more. We could go all day talking about the incredible work that's been done. One of the huge initiatives that we had this year was bringing on our 6th grade. Interesting year to be taking on a challenge, expanding the school by 50% more teachers, students, families, but it's just been incredible. We've had almost all of the 6th grade teachers come from the elementary over to our school. The only ones that we didn't get just had to fill in other roles at the elementary school or as we transition. So they've been just incredible community to bring in. We've had great communication and working with our families. Just want to affirm the entire 6th grade team of making this transition and just doing an incredible job. Just walking through there. Miss Lily, when you do come, I do look forward to bringing you through our 6th grade wing. It's just absolutely amazing.
Looking forward.
Distance learning success. One of the things that we kept going back to as a staff is how do we really leverage what we're doing? How do we have this? And this was a quote that one of our teachers identified, and we just love this thing that we kept going back to: dream, struggle, create, prevail. Be daring, be brave, be loving, be compassionate, be strong, be brilliant, and be beautiful. And this is something that we've just taken through this entire experience. As you guys know, March 13th last year was the last day of in-person learning. March 16th was the first day of distance learning, and our community did such an incredible job with that transition. I also want to affirm all the tireless work that our GCC team has put together. Jason Sample, from his countless updates, Dr. Heather Gould, who's just been so incredibly, we've relied on so much to give insight on how we can do, make our program work well, just absolutely critical. As well as Sergey, just have enjoyed him in really making this a success, especially with our families. Also want to affirm our incredible parent liaison, Polina Morozova. Just wonderful parent engagement, highest engagement we've seen for our parent universities and workshops. We had 100% of staff retention going from last year into this year, which was an incredible success. And our participation was fantastic. Over 40%, or over 90% of daily participation in distance learning. We had hundreds of participants in our rallies and our events focused around our social emotional goals. And it's been really incredible to see the work and the community that has been done, along with successful in-person interventions that have been going on as long as we've been able to, because we have had small groups of special education and EL identified students, and that's been going on almost the entire time we've been in distance learning, at least for this year. This is just a couple of key pictures from our first semester awards. We had over 350 students on. We had this whole Hollywood themed event. It was absolutely wonderful. But we also have transitioned to reopening. For us at the middle school, we were able to open 6th grade a little bit earlier than our 7th and 8th grade due to the guidance. But March 1st was when we were to open comprehensively 6th through 8th grade, 5 days a week, all day, every day. And it has been such a joy to have that experience. And we've done it as early as possible. And it's been absolutely wonderful. We've got 73% of our students coming in person. We've got tons of awesome training going on, support, all of these different guidance and everything we've been working for. And it's just been absolutely incredible. Really want to affirm our wonderful vice principal, Ms. Diana Davidson, and our counselor, Michelle Parker, as well as our curricular coach, Tiffany Santos, have just been working incredibly hard throughout this to make our reopening the massive success that we've seen. But we also need to be strategic in how we are going to deal with the learning loss. We've seen over a year of this shifted instructional practice. So we're identifying that with 3 tiered interventions, modeling it after a response to intervention model or a multiple tiered system of support. We start with our support for all students, really looking at comprehensive use of that 6 to 9 week assessment cycle, engaging in our coherence work. We're hiring a full-time curricular coach to support that, differentiated instruction, really targeting on the need of advancing our students. For our higher tiered needs, our smaller group of students that might need some additional work, we have a comprehensive 5-week summer school that we have, that we're engaging in pre and post assessments for, so we can identify that targeted growth. We have that being taught by our core academic teachers. They have a really wonderful strategic plan that they've developed where we have our students engaging across subject area, but also really supporting their social emotional development needs as well. I think it'll be a wonderful experience for our students. And then we have ongoing and targeted support into next year. We have iReady assessments coming out. We have additional time for students and advisory for those check-in. And of course, ongoing professional development around best practices around learning loss mitigation and advancing our students forward. Student achievement, we've really seen great work with our students. And really we've seen that through just consistent practice over and over and over again. One of the things that we really focused on was kind of going back to that learning loss, or identifying where our students are at and doing what's called a multi-year longitudinal report for our students. So we can see that our biggest gap that we identified, if we're looking at year over year, this is how our students performed as 4th, 5th, and 6th graders. We identified in our ELA 16% dip in our at or above 40 PR. We really wanted to kind of focus that, did some great interventions. We look forward to seeing how our data looks when we finish up our spring assessments here. But we also saw some good successes. We were very happy to see with our 8th grade group, 36% was where we were at a couple of years ago with those students, and now they're at 38%. So we've really kind of seen a consistency with our scores there. If we look at math, we don't see as big of a loss. We've gone from 79 to 68% of proficiency for our students. And again, if we kind of see, we have much closer gaps with our math skills, much higher skill sets for math. But again, really want to affirm our teams. and really kind of working on engaging our students, especially around language, especially in their academics, really trying to push forward no matter the difficulty. And our teachers really have worked hard on that. We've also done continuous work with Lyle Kirkman and Wendy York from the LT360. We've worked on our coherent instructional framework. We have ongoing training and support. We committed to that work throughout our distance learning and really kind of clearly articulated that in our reopening plans. I really want to affirm our coherence and leadership team that really just worked tirelessly to analyze data, come up with plans, implement, discuss, just done an incredible job. One of our other key initiatives for the year is equity. We've been talking about that work. We have our key focus area here, really kind of focusing on anti-hate. How do we empower our students to stand up to hate? Want to affirm our work with CCCS K8, Sarah Sheeline and John Campbell, also Jason Sample and Dr. McCormick being involved in that work as well. And really kind of we have a shared campus, creating a shared vision that's united around equity and standing up to hate for all of our students. Parent engagement has been wonderful this year. I just want to affirm again, Polina Morozova, our incredible parent liaison, as well as Sergey, who've just been so critical in the development of our monthly coffee with the principals, parent universities. We even just had an event just the other day around immunizations, and just to see that participation and involvement has been wonderful. Staff engagement is critical to our success, and we appreciate our staff. We want to really kind of create a culture where they know that they are valued. We, like the elementary school, have an incredibly high retention rate. Again, we have 100% retention from last year into this year. Looking forward, we look to be maintaining that very high retention rate, and we have historically. And we really kind of do that for our roadmap for staff engagement. We really want to recognize and respect. We want to empower, train, develop focus goals, create buy-in, and then we see the outcome of retention and acceleration. And we've had lots of opportunity to do that, both in distance and once we were in person, which was absolutely wonderful. Charter renewal, as we discussed, this is just kind of a timeline of some of the things that we can identify. We're developing our plans. We're getting together our paperwork. We have our identified submission date. And we're really kind of using this to kind of accelerate into next year, just kind of exploring our pursuit of excellence in all things. Again, really want to affirm our leadership team, want to affirm Dr. McCormick, who's been so critical, Jason Sample, everyone just working so hard on making sure that we're prepared for absolutely stellar, successful renewal. Some of the key things that we have coming up next: continuing work with CCCSKA on the development of our shared equity focus, or our successful charter renewal, our WASP visit coming up, really kind of delving deeper into our 21st century skills with P21, continuing that level of excellence with our 6th grade integration, leveraging what we've learned through COVID to make our school even better than ever, and so much more. I want to thank you so much for your time. And again, I cannot express how incredibly, incredibly, incredibly grateful I am and our entire school community is to the work that you guys put in. We could not do what we do without your support. Thank you so much. I'll stop sharing.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you for your wonderful report. And I'm going to stop to see for board members. Any questions, any comments, board members? Do I see hands? Yes, Mark. Mr. Anderson.
Very good presentation, Scott. I'm going to ask the same question of you as I've asked Larissa and team about summer school. I know you said it's a 5-week offering. What's been your response so far from the parents about their students attending?
It's been good. We have about 50 families that have registered for our summer school program. And that does not close until next week. So we anticipate having some more. We're doing another push, but there's been a really good response. One of the things that we really wanted to make sure that our parents knew is that it wouldn't just be on the Chromebooks or focus work, but they would actually be having fun and really enjoying and resting their mind as well. So we've had really good response.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Anyone? I was interested. It was a little difficult for me to see your scores from your testing. Could you just elaborate just a little bit? What are your concerns there? Your math or your reading, your English language? Tell me a little bit more because it was a little difficult.
Thank you. And I do apologize. I know it was kind of hard to see there. One of the things that we really identified, and we anticipated this going into the year, but it was even a bigger impact than we realized, is our English language learners, the dip in their English scores. We really kind of had a lot of conversations about where that could come from and what we can do about that. So that was kind of our key finding from that data. It could be, and this was kind of the direction we thought, is that our students having such a huge EL population just aren't getting exposed to the language as much because they aren't in school, around friends, around community. They aren't hearing English spoken in class on a consistent basis. So it's definitely a conversation that we've been having. How do we accelerate into next year so that we're really engaging in active conversations, grouping, collaborative work to kind of really touch on that.
And you have about 78% of your students now on campus. Is that what I saw?
73%.
73%.
Mm-hmm. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Well, we really appreciate anything else from any board members? Concerns, questions? Thank you so much, Scott, for your wonderful report. We appreciate all the work that you put in. You didn't have any other staff members with you tonight, so you had to do the whole show yourself. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anything else for the good of CoA Elementary and CoA Middle?
I would just say that CoA Middle School was one of the schools I was able to tour recently. And I must say the 6th grade rooms that Scott referenced you coming to see Miss Lily
Right.
do look beautiful. They are just beautiful.
Can't wait. I tell you, when I can, I will. Thank you so much, all of you. And I know that you are not going to sit here through all of the rest of this board stuff. So with Dr. Peterson's permission and mine,
Yes.
if you need to leave, we do give you permission to leave. Oh, and Scott, thank you for our wonderful water jugs, our water containers. There is no way, Scott, that I will be able to.
I forgot to mention the water things. Thank you. This was themed out by our leadership students. We got these donated, got these out to you guys. We handed a bunch of them out. We wanted, as we were hydrating, getting ready to finish strong in the school year. This year was taxing on all of us. So thank you for the reminder, Lily. So yeah.
Yes, I was just about to forget it. I thanked Larissa. And so I needed to make sure you knew that we appreciate. Mine is on my cabinet. I'm looking at it. Does he really think I'm going to drink all of this? But thank you so much. Anything else, board members, for that? Dr. Peterson, you give them permission to leave if they would
Yes.
like.
Yes, they may.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much. I love all of you. Thank you for being here today and for your wonderful school reports. You've set the groundwork for the others to follow. All right. And now we are moving into number 3, in-person learning update. Mr. Sample, is that yours? Or?
All right. Good evening, Madam President, members of the board, Dr. Peterson. Tonight, Dr. McCormick and I are proud to give you a very brief presentation on not school reopening, but in-person learning. We're really excited, as we shared with you at the last board meeting, that we had transitioned this name. So I'll give you a couple of updates. Dr. Peterson already shared this with you, but Sacramento County continues to be in the red category, Yolo County in the orange. Again, we are waiting anxiously for June 15th when the color tier system will sunset. And if nothing more we've learned during this year, the word of the year is fluid. So we will be sure to keep you updated. Some of the things that we want to just kind of let you know, we continue to support vaccine rollout within the GCC by providing information. Even as soon as today, as late as today, excuse me, we were notified that the FDA has approved the Pfizer vaccine for ages 12 through 15, and Sacramento County Public Health has provided that information, and we are already sharing that out, as well as additional community clinics have been opened up for, again, community members who want to take part in the vaccine to receive it. Dr. McCormick.
Thank you, Mr. Sample. Just our sharing of where we are with our number of students attending in-person learning. So our schools self-report every 2 weeks, and this is the data that we input into the California school information website, and it maps out all the schools through the state of California and their school reopening status. Some of our schools have gone up. I did notice that CoA Middle School has a different self-reported number to me than they had on their slides, so I will need to circle back with Mr. Gennard and make sure that his team is giving me the correct numbers when they indicate their data. But many of our schools have some improvement and will continue, and I just want to continue to affirm the teachers and the school staff and the administrators for continuing to communicate to our parents that we're here, we're open, and we're ready to serve their students. So I think that is it, unless there are any questions.
Board members, any questions? All right. Seeing none, hearing none, we will wait until the next report. And it is now called in-person learning instead of update on school opening. What was the update on school? Yeah. Thank you so much. And now we will go to item number 4, summer school for 2021. And that's yours, Dr. McCormick, I believe.
It is, and Dr. Gold is going to assist me, and she will share her screen for us. There we are. So before I begin, I can't begin to just think about how we need to affirm and thank our school teams for thinking forward to summer school. This has been a year, 14 months, and they didn't hesitate when Dr. Peterson came to them and said, we're doing summer school, everybody. Everybody's doing it. We're going to figure out how. And as you heard from our 2 schools, we have parents that really want their students in school, and they're finding a great balance on our school campuses. So true affirmations to our school teams for jumping in and putting their design thinking on about how we're going to support summer learning. So I'll take the next slide. So just a brief overview. As I mentioned, all of our schools will be providing summer learning. Many are doing multiple sessions. Some are doing 4 or 5 days a week, 3 days a week. They did surveys of parents. trying to find what would be the best balance, as the same with when they're offering, some June, some July, some starting middle of June, some going longer in July, to give sort of a break. Parents said we need a couple weeks off and then we're more than happy, and others it's more of we're going to hit the ground running, but we're going to offer a couple sessions. So a lot of variety, but really good work that's going to be happening this summer for our students. And Dr. Gold, I'll let you take the next slide.
Thank you. So one thing we spoke with principals about when planning for summer school was, what is the difference between summer school and summer learning, right? And really making sure that this summer we value students and really put at the center their social emotional well-being. And that it's not that students are unavailable, not able to learn, but rather that sometimes they're unavailable to learn, especially because of the circumstance with the pandemic and everything that they've been through. So we really encourage sites that when they were planning for summer learning, that they really take into considerations the 3 R's, which is coming out with some best practices from researchers on really making sure that we're building relationships, that we have routines put in place, because students are really going to need that consistency, and to help build resilience in our students. So you'll see here that the 3 R's don't even really mention academics, just really knowing that we need to provide that social emotional support for our students, as well as providing an enriching and engaging environment so that students can be available to learn. Then you'll see the academics addressed. So we spoke about what the focus should be on academics, not just during summer learning, but as we gear up and prepare for next year, of really making sure that we are accelerating learning and that we are really focusing priority content standards, and we're not going back to reteach content because that will just further widen our achievement gap. And then from this, principals came up with their response, and just kind of highlight some of those things. Where the difference from summer school to summer learning is most of our sites are offering summer school to all of our students, which is different, right? Where in traditional summer school, it's usually only targeted for those students who need remediation. But we know that not just academics is not the only support that our students need this year. In addition, as I had mentioned, really focusing on the social emotional learning, building community, right? And also integrating enrichment on a daily basis. So it's not a drill and kill. As we like to say, you know, when you go to summer school and kids are like, oh, I don't want to be there, right? We really want to cultivate that culture that is engaging students so that they can learn, and also bring back that community that they are desperately needing. Academics are primarily going to focus on ELA and math blocks, as well as that social emotional learning. And they're going to do that by using data to strategically target focus areas with a primary consideration on those priority content standards. And then at our IS schools, CCCS and SAVA, they're offering 10 to 15 credits to be able to make up some of the credit recovery. I do know that for SAVA, I believe they said they already have about 436 students who are signed up for the summer school. So it's definitely, as you heard, our 2 amazing principals today talk about that our community is being very receptive to summer learning, and we're hoping that helps to meet our needs and help to mitigate some of this learning loss that we are going through. So that is a short but brief introduction or overview of some of our summer school plans. And I'm going to stop sharing for questions.
Okay, board members? Any questions, comments, board members? You answered one of my questions, Dr. Gold, and that was, is summer school open to everyone, or is this just a remediation? And I was so glad to hear you say, we're going to do some remediation, but that is not the focus. The focus is on social, emotional, and really getting to these students who really need that kind of support. So I was very glad to hear you say it is open to all who want to be there, not those who need it the most. So thank you for that.
I do want to balance that with what Miss Larissa said about capacity. You know, it's anyone who wants to with capacity. And of course, I am going to be challenging Dr. McCormick and Dr. Gold to work with the principals to see what other ways we might be able to enhance our ability to serve numbers. I
Right.
prefer not to have a waiting list. So I know that Dr. McCormick and Dr. Gold have an understanding of the greater flexibilities we have with structures in summer school because they are not ADA generating. And
Yeah.
so it is possible they may be able to help CoA Elementary and others who have a waiting list find a way to serve more students.
Thank you for that. Mr. Turner, Jack?
Yes, you kind of piqued my interest on staff, not all staff or a certain, maybe a small number of staff wanting to work during the summer. How are we working out? Are they paid on a per diem, a flat rate, or what is the?
Yeah, summer school is an hourly rate. It's an hourly rate for instruction, the same way as we pay independent study teachers. It's hourly rate for instruction, and then there's a different rate if it was curriculum development.
Do we have the flexibility to enhance that if we see
we
the
already
need?
I believe we already have enhanced it. So you already approved an enhancement. That's a pandemic that went through summer. Remember, it's an additional amount for teaching in person during pandemic. We said that would go through summer as well. So that will be on top of that.
Yeah, I think it was in our board agenda on last meeting, I think we had, where we looked at the salary schedule for summer school and we voted on that.
Dr. McCormick, can you, I'm sorry, I'm a little fuzzy. Can you speak to that more specifically than I just did?
Yes, and we have an in-person stipend that will be an incentive add-on to that hourly rate to help support our teachers who are really, going above and beyond to come and continue to support our students this summer.
And I don't really think, by the way, that those that aren't wanting to teach in the summer, it's about the money. We just have people who feel that the pandemic and maybe both teaching online and in person and all the changes just wore people out. And there's people who just feel like they need some time. So.
Yeah. All right. Thank you. No other questions or comments? We will move on to review information. GCC RS 990 review informational item. Is there someone to speak to that, or do you need more information, board members?
Well, the item is Mr. Business's item, but it is just simply an information item. No action is taken. We do it every year, unless there's something beyond that you need to know, in which case Aaron would respond to it. But really, it's just a standing item.
Yeah. Board members, anything else on that? It was pretty clear in our write-up. All right. Seeing and hearing none, we shall move on. And to the consent agenda items. Consent agenda items are as follows: adoption of the GCC board meeting, April the 20th, personnel consent agenda items, purchases over $30,000, and empowering possibility international charter school revised curriculum. Those are the items for the consent agenda. I will entertain. Yes, Mr. Turner.
I move approval.
Move approval.
Second.
And Mr. Block, second. Is there more questions, discussions on these items? Any discussion? Hearing none, I will do roll call for approval or none. Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Block?
Yes.
Mr. Mandrick?
Yes.
Mr. Turner?
Yes.
Campbell, yes. Unanimously approve all of the consent agenda items as presented. And the next item is facilities. Item 9, facilities. Number 1, lease agreement of 3147 Dwight Road, Suite 100 in Elk Road. Do we need anyone to speak to that item?
We have already discussed these two leases with you multiple times, including in the superintendent's update the last at least 3 times we met. But if you have questions, I would say that Mr. Thornsberry would be the one to answer those.
Any questions on the lease agreement for 3147 Dwight Road? Seeing no questions, yes, Mr. Mandrick.
I would move approval of item number 9.1 and item number 9.2.
All right, we are putting 1 and 2 together, lease amendment.
Second.
3142nd, and we have a second. All right, any discussions? Any further discussions, questions, comments? I hear something, but I guess no hand. Okay. Seeing none and hearing none, roll call. Mr. Anderson,
Yes.
Mr. Block,
Yes.
Mr. Mandrick,
Yes.
Mr. Turner,
Yes.
Campbell, yes. Unanimously approved. Both items, facilities 1 and 2. Central Administration, item 10. Bylaws, GCC bylaws and article of incorporation revision. This is a revision to the bylaws, and if you read it, you will see it was noted where the revisions were. So, any discussion or anything on that item before we? Okay, moving to I need a motion, I'm sorry, to accept the GCC bylaws and articles of incorporation revision. And I think there's a resolution. Yes,
So moved.
and it's so moved. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All right, thank you. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Questions? Comments? Seeing and hearing none, roll call. Mr. Anderson,
Yes.
Mr. Block,
Yes.
Mr. Mandrick,
Yes.
Mr. Turner,
Yes.
Campbell, yes, approved. The bylaws and articles of incorporation have been approved, and I do believe there was a resolution with that, so it was a voice vote, so that is good. And under personnel, revised salary schedule. The board approved the revised salary schedule, and that has to do with the athletic director, if you recall in that, putting it on a stipend instead of a salary. So I will entertain a motion for that item. And
So moved.
Approval.
so moved, thank you. And did I hear a second?
Second.
Second, thank you, Mark. All right, any other questions, comments? Yes, Mr. Turner.
Can that stipend be split among a number of staff people, or is it going to be just one individual handling? How is it going to work? Every school has a athletic staff director?
At this time, really the only school that has CIF sports is Futures. And so it is going to be one staff member who's doing Futures. So what we had done in the past is we created the athletic director, and initially it was half-time, and they were a half-time teacher. We threw in some other things like do this and that at the elementary, do this at the, so really it was a catch-all, not just an athletic director. So we have a staff member who is I believe a para-educator who's interested in the position, who's qualified, who is willing to do it for the stipend amount. And it's primarily doing, ensuring that we have the coach and the coverage and the schedules for Futures sporting season.
All right.
Okay. Any other questions, concerns? Okay, seeing and hearing none, roll call for that item, revised salary schedule for the athletic director. Mr. Anderson,
Yes.
Mr. Block,
Yes.
Mr. Mandrick,
Yes.
Mr. Turner,
Yes.
Campbell, yes. Item approved. And now we will go for board comments before we move for closed session. Comments, board comments? Anything, anyone? Comments for tonight, board comments? Seeing or hearing none? Well, I again want to give accolades to all of the schools and the principals, vice principals who reported tonight. Very good. Thank you. Very glad to see that we are back into on-site now, and everything seems to be going very well and getting ready for summer school. So again, want to thank each of you, cabinet members, all of you, for the hard work that you're doing to support the students and the parents. Thank you, thank you. And now we will move into closed session. Employee personnel matter pursuant to Government Code Section 54957. And we will return with the report out after closed session.
So, Mr. Sample, I just want to be clear, is this going to be the board and you and I and Dr. McCormick, correct?
That is correct, Dr. Peterson.
Okay, and Mr. Thornsberry is going to hang out till we report out after closed session?
Correct.
Okay, I do want to warn the board and cabinet, I seem to be in the middle of a thunder and a lightning storm. So if perchance I lose my internet, I know that Mr. Sample and Dr. McCormick and Mr. Thornsberry, together with Madam President, can clear up anything, but right now I'm fine.
Okay, can we now move to breakout room? Okay, we are back. Can you hear me okay? All right. We are back from closed session and no action was taken, just information. So that is what happened. And again, I want to thank all of you for tonight, for the meeting tonight. And do we have any more closing comments from our board members or cabinet? Any more closing comments? Hearing none, seeing none, I will now entertain a motion for adjournment again. Thanks, everyone. Okay, Mark, you're muted.
Second.
Who did Jack?
That was Harry.
Harry, you moved, so moved. Do I have a second?
Second.
A second. Okay, all in favor of the voting sign of aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it.